There was once a young girl who lived with her parents in a small house on the edge of a forest, like the woods. And for my people from Colorado, you know that when you live on the edge of the forest, what you see is a line of trees that looks like the trees are kind of far apart. But as you walk into the forest, you find that actually you only have to go a couple of feet before all you see is trees. And so this young girl lived on the edge of this forest with her parents, and every day, she would walk out of her house, and she would walk to the edge of the forest, and she would slowly walk into the trees. Walk in far enough that her parents couldn't see her anymore, and they would worry and wonder where she was. What was she doing? They couldn't find her or see her when she was just a couple feet into those trees. And so every day they went through this. She would walk into the woods and they would feel a little nervous and they would wonder, but then she would always come back and rejoin whatever it was that they were doing. And one day she went and she left and she walked into the woods. And as she arrived back into her home later that day, her mother finally wanting to give her this freedom, but also wondering what was she doing in the woods and why would she keep doing that? And it made them nervous. And so she finally said, "My love, you have to tell me, my sweet girl, what is it that you do in this forest? Why is it that every day you leave and you walk into the woods and you go there and I can't see you and I don't know where you are and it makes me so nervous? And just tell me, what are you doing in the woods?" And the girl looked at her mom and she said, "Mom, I go to the woods to find God." And the mom was like, "Oh, thank God." And then she said, "But sweet girl, don't you know, God is the same everywhere?" And this little girl looked at her mom and she said, "Well, sure, but I'm not." When we need God, we come here. We come to a room full of thousands of women just like us. When we need God, we don't go to the forest. We don't go on our own. We don't go to our own space to meditate. I mean, we do, but we also, when we need God, we find each other. When we feel pain and we feel brokenness and we feel worry for our people, when we fear the fires, when we fear hatred and destruction and anti-Semitism, when we worry about the future for our children, and when we think about what we're going to do to make sure that this world is a place where we can raise them safely and securely, and knowing that they are going to build what we give them, when we need to know that, and our tears flow from our eyes to each other's eyes, and our hearts connect from one heart to another, and when we need to know that that is real and it's true, we come here. Because God is absolutely the same everywhere, even if God is different for all of us. God is the same everywhere, but we're not. And so it is not an accident that we are here together today in this moment, that we have between us, among us in this room, such power to make it better, to do what's right, to stand together, to build, to create, and most importantly, in this moment, we have such potential to be exactly who we need to be to find God.